Hello, Mario. Bearings are measured clockwise from north. Yeah, the idea of bearings is something that I've lived with pretty much most of my life. So it's a pretty simple sort of concept that I have, I guess, grown to know and become very familiar with. So I pretty much do conversion of bearings from one thing to another, from one direction to another, pretty much automatically, like I possibly do times tables and that sort of thing. So it came as quite a surprise to me when some of my students were having difficulty converting from one direction to another. So let's get some information on the table here so that we've got something to talk about. So here it is on this slide here. Very simple. It's quite a simple survey concept that bearings are measured clockwise from north. So if we take a look at this simple compass rose here, we can see that north is 360 degrees, and we go clockwise around to 90, which is east, and we keep going round to 180, which is south, 270 west, and then we get back to a 360 or 0. So the actual angle that we're measuring is going clockwise from 0 or north. So that's a bit of an idea of just reinforcing that bearings are measured clockwise from north. And so now we get a situation of the idea of how bearings can be 180 degrees different depending on which direction you're heading. So if, say for instance, we take the little simple example here of the bearing from A to B, we go from north clockwise, and it would be, this angle in here would be 35 degrees 1520. So that's fine. We can live with going from A to B, 35 degrees 1520, no problem. However, if we are now at B, and remembering that north is up the page, if we're now at B and we want to go from B to A, what's the bearing from B to A? Well, if we're measuring clockwise from north, we've got to come all the way around here, 180, and then the angle 35, 15, 20. So they're 180 degrees different. It's like when you're traveling along on your skateboard, heading in one direction, and you do a 180, and you're going exactly back in the opposite direction. It's that 180 degree difference. Now, in reality, it doesn't make much difference as to whether you add the 180 or subtract the 180. You're going to end up with the same answer, except that if you go past the 360 line, then you've got to subtract the 360. So the actual thing to do is to reverse a bearing. In other words, if you're changing in completely the opposite direction, if the bearing is less than 180, such as 35, 15, 20, then you would just add 180, which would give you 215, 15, 20. So A to B is 35. Remember where north is. Then when you get from B to A, north's up here, just add 180, 35, 15, 20. If, on the other hand, if the bearing is more than 180, you take away 180. So here we've got C to D, and we've got a bearing of 327, 26, 30. So this is the angle from north all the way around there, 327, 26, 30. If we, however, get to D, going back to C, this is greater than 180, so we subtract 180. 327, 26, 30 minus 180 would be 147, 26, 30. So there it is. Fairly simple, really. Bearings are measured clockwise from north, and if you go from in one direction, and then you turn around and go back in the opposite, but on the exact same line, you just add 180 if the bearing is less than 180, and if the bearing is more than 180, take away 180. So there you go. And then as you get more and more proficient at this, of course, it just becomes a natural thing, and you can do it in your head, and that's what's happened to me. I've been doing this on a regular basis for over 40 years or more, so I can pretty much know how these work forwards and backwards, and so that's all pretty good. So there you go, just another little simple survey concept from Maurieo. Bearings are measured clockwise from north. Cheers! See you!